Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Dogco Secrets podcast. My name is Michelle Kline. I am your host. I am also the founder of Dogco Launch, where pet care companies come to grow and scale. In today's episode, I want to talk about how to tell if you are the problem, i.e., how to tell if an owner bottleneck is the core constraint to the business. So let's get into it. One of the things that I have focused on a lot in Dogco this year, especially with my second track programming. So these are clients that have been through the first year of the program. We're now going into the second year. Deeper implementation, deeper focus on metrics, sales, conversions, things like that. And one of the things that I've talked about specifically with this second group is how to identify the key constraints inside of your business. So your business will always have problems. There's always going to be something constricting your business in some way. And rather than trying to fix all of the problems at one time, which is tempting, but really inefficient and ineffective always, it is so much more effective to figure out what is that key thing constraining the business. And then how do we apply leverage to that key thing rather than trying to tackle all the things at one time? Oftentimes, the owner bottlenecking the business, oftentimes that is the key constraint. It's one of the hardest to spot. And it's also one of the hardest ones to take decisive action on once we figure it out. If you're ready to take your pet care business to the next level, then I want you in the room at the Dogco Business Summit, October 2nd through the 4th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We have brought together the very best speakers we could possibly find, and we are getting the best companies in the room to help give you the path to grow and scale your pet care business. Go to dogcosummit.com to learn more. There will be a future episode on that. This one is going to focus on how do we know if that's the key constraint? Like, what are the signs across the organization that the issue actually is me? It's me. I'm the problem. It's me, in the words of Taylor Swift. Okay, so I want to talk about 3 different ways that you can kind of start to get clarity, maybe this is a me problem. And at the end of the day, I do want to be clear. Owner bottleneck is always an issue. It's just whether or not it's the biggest issue is really the question. Everyone has some form of owner bottleneck in their business. It's really, when is it truly problematic to the place where we need to focus on it as a key piece in the business? Otherwise, I think we're always kind of in this progressive step towards removing the owner more and more from key functions as the business scales, so that it's not dependent on you. Whether or not that needs to be your key focus, though, is really the question, because there are windows of time where that's fine. There are windows of time where it is not. Okay, so how to know if an owner bottleneck may be a pretty pressing issue in your business right now. So the first sign to keep an eye out for is when people come to you to make decisions relative to their role, rather than you're holding them accountable to the decisions they made. And if those decisions were in alignment with what the role is and their job is, and then giving feedback. Like, that's what your role should be ultimately once people are out of training, and depending on who they report to and what that role is. Your job should be accountability, feedback, and coaching and leadership. It should not be to make decisions for them or to lifetime validate the decisions that they're making. Again, once they're out of training, people will need your support when they're early in the role, they're learning the role. Once they have that, though, if you're seeing this kind of dependency forming around you, that could be an issue with the team member. It could be an issue with the training process. It could be also, though, that you've bottlenecked certain decisions around yourself, and that is going to constrain the growth. In part because you have limited decision-making time and energy, but it's a really ineffective way to use people as well, which are very costly to your business. So if people are coming to you to make pivotal decisions within their role, even daily decisions within their role, that's an indication we might have bottlenecked around the owner. That needs to be adjusted. All right, the second thing to pay attention to is if you do not use in the owner do not have a clearly defined role and relationship to the business, ideally in written form, but at least like a clear understanding where people know this is what belongs to you, this is what belongs to Michelle, these are her key areas of responsibility, and these are mine. Instead, if your relationship to the business is almost like Robin Hood, you're just swooping in to save it, your hands are kind of in every pocket, that's a really clear indication that the owner is the bottleneck. So a practice that my most developed companies do, that I have them do, is they write out their own job description as the owner. And if we can't do that, or we can't articulate, these are my key areas, like these are my lanes, these are the lanes of the people I've put in place, then there's some work we need to do there, because if you're not clear, your people sure as heck aren't clear. No one will ever have more clarity about the business than you do. So if you don't have clarity, that is something we need to focus on getting you, because that is not going to correct itself without intervention. All right. And then the third indicator that an owner bottleneck is potentially a key constraint right now is if, when looking at your time, you see that most of your time is spent in reaction mode rather than planned time. So if you are on the receiving end of all the communication, if there are urgent things coming up where people need you right then and there for whatever reason, if you're having to treat the business like a live stream of information that you're having to process and sort in that moment, most likely there's an owner bottleneck happening. We need systems, we need people, so that you are not the one dealing with all of that noise. It'll be so incredibly difficult to grow your business in a structured, planned, non-total chaos way when you're fitting in all of the actual work in the business on the margins rather than as a key focus. And when all of our time is going into this reactive posture to what's coming in, we can't plan our time. And we definitely can't get into deep work, systems work, where the business really needs you as the owner. So those are 3 signals that may be happening in your business to know if owner bottleneck is a key constraint. Now, I'm not going to go too far into the tactics of how to fix it. Let's see. I will leave you with one belief to take from this episode, because I don't want to leave you in a discouraged place. That's not the goal. All of these are symptoms pointing to a root cause that is 100% within your control to fix. And that is my favorite thing about the owner bottleneck, because there are many ways this is kind of the final boss battle in your business. It's really difficult to deconstruct yourself out of the center of everything. But the good news is, because this key constraint is directly related to you, you have the most control and the most influence over changing that reality than any other constraint in your business. This is within your control. You can go a different direction. You may not know exactly how to right now. It's going to take time, effort, energy, probably money. It's also going to feel really uncomfortable. I want to be very honest with you, to decentralize yourself as the owner out of the business, but you can do it. So I hope today was helpful, and I will catch you on the next one.